Okay, let's start a little bit with the Jerry Reinsdorf statement. What is the worst sign for a franchise? I think it is when the owner has to talk about how mad they are. Do you remember when George McCaskey, like 10 years ago under Trestman, said, Virginia's never been this mad? Well, now Jerry Reinsdorf is hopping on and saying, I've never been this mad. And I don't think it really means anything because it didn't mean a whole lot when the Bears said that about how mad Virginia was.
No, this is just about appeasing people. Like the owner letting us all know he's aware of how bad they are. But he didn't say anything in that statement. He only put it out because, listen to this. I was there yesterday. My colleague, national reporter Jeff Passan was there. New York Magazine was there. Went up to the starting pitcher, tried to talk to him before his start. That's how goofy it's getting. The Washington Post was there. I mean, they are a national story, and everybody was asking Reinsdorf for comment. So he put out this statement that really didn't say a lot.
Jess, you and I have been doing this a long, long time. This is the dictionary definition of a nothing burger. Yeah. When you throw out a bunch of empty words, all you're trying to do is kick the can down the road for another day. If you're Jerry Reinsdorf, though, out of all the things that have happened in the last few years and with your teams, this is doing laps of embarrassment beyond anything I can think of. And, I mean, this is a team in the Bulls that employed Jim Boylan and have all the mistakes that they've made and all the issues that have popped up. The White Sox are a complete joke. And at this point, it's a national sports embarrassment. And when it gets to that level, there's only one person usually to blame, and it's the person in charge of putting all the other people in the organization in place.
No doubt. Here, this one sentence, what has impressed me is how our players and staff have continued to work and bring a professional attitude to the ballpark each day. Look, I don't think just showing up for batting practice is putting in the work, or showing up to go through the motions is putting in the work. You might think so, Jerry, but it's not. Your play says different. And I'm not talking about the talent. I'm talking about the mental aptitude to keep your head in the game on a crappy team. That hasn't happened. They've played sloppy, terrible baseball on top of not being talented. So I'd even disagree with just showing up doesn't mean you're working. Don't confuse activity with accomplishment.
I couldn't agree with you more. And I would also say this. At this stage, not only for White Sox fans, but sports fans in general, they're a lot smarter than they've ever been.
Yeah.
So Jerry Reinsdorf trying to put out this statement saying, I understand why everybody's frustrated and this team is still giving it its all. That's also BS. And fans, more so than at any other point before, can see right through it. So whoever is giving Jerry the PR direction here on top of whatever he wants to say on his own, it's a disaster, but it's a disaster of their own creation.
Without a doubt.
And when you're this bad for this long and you have made this many mistakes, it is always going to catch up with you in pro sports.
Charlie?
The Jacksonville Jaguars have rebranded their stadium. It was Everbank Stadium. And now they're calling it Trevor Bank Stadium. Like, legitimately, they are doing this. We're there with Trevor Lawrence. We're just going to name a stadium with him.
What happens when he moves? What happens when he moves on? Do they change the name to the next quarterback?
Yeah, what happens when they need to trade his contract in 3 years? Like,
exactly. It's kind of catchy if he was all world. You know what I mean? Like that would make sense.
If he was the quarterback he was supposed to be when they drafted
Trevor Bank
him.
Stadium makes a lot of sense. But he's kind of underachieved, a little bit at least.
He's underachieved on the field. He has not off the field because that contract, guys, is incredible. The extension he just signed a few months ago. When you walk around Jacksonville, of which I have a lot more familiarity with than I ever thought I would.
You do.
You see a lot of people that still buy into this team and certainly into Trevor Lawrence. It's time for him to show up the way everybody thought, though, because – and everybody talks about it on the station all the time because I'm always listening to the ESPN Chicago app. Trevor Lawrence preceded Caleb Williams. Trevor Lawrence was supposed to be the next big thing in the NFL. Up to this point, it hasn't been the case.
Yeah,
he's had good moments. He just hasn't had the consistency that you would hope.
It goes back to expectations and what we think. Like he is a starting quarterback in the league. He had at least one really good year, right? If I'm not mistaken, like he had one really good year.
He won a playoff game.
Yeah, and that probably got him this contract. But that's the weird part about this. Like He's a starting quarterback and will be for 10 years, but he's not good enough.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you have to, your talent level
Sounds
has
like
to
somebody
match.
Jerry Reinsdorf should sign for the Bulls.
Right. Your production has to match your talent level. And it hasn't happened that way, even though he is a starting quarterback in the league. But that's not good enough.
The hype was always there around Trevor Lawrence. Charlie, to your point about this particular story, the hype's going to be there even more. His play has never matched the hype. And if you are a Bears fan looking at this story, looking at the arc of Trevor Lawrence's career right now, it has to make you think about Caleb Williams a little bit, because Caleb Williams is supposed to be the guy. And Jess, you made this point earlier, and I thought it was spot on. In the second half of that game the other day, Caleb Williams was supposed to be the guy that was supposed to hit a few throws, was supposed to make the guys around him better. That is not to say that he can't do it, and it won't happen on Sunday in Houston and moving forward. It's that it did not happen against the Titans when it needed to, and it's happened far too less in Jacksonville with Trevor Lawrence, who had the pedigree of a guy coming out of Clemson who was supposed to be the next big thing in the NFL.
Certainly was supposed to be. It hasn't happened just yet. Charlie, what else?
Jesse, who's the most exciting player in baseball? Because ESPN wrote a story today about it, and they said it was Bobby Witt Jr.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we had a vote. We did a bracket-style vote where you whittled it down. I voted for PCA. No, I'm kidding. Although he was in the first round, and I did vote for him in the first round. I mean,
I thought Crochet was on there.
Yeah, I know. It was weird. Crochet versus Aaron Judge in the first round, I think it was. Like, okay, I think I know where I'm going. So they said we ended up with Bobby Witt Jr. Now, look, he's in the team photo. Is he more exciting than Shohei? I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. Is he more exciting than Judge?
No, I'm taking Shohei number one till the end of time.
I agree, because now Shohei has added what Bobby Witt can do is steal bases.
Ding, ding,
and
ding.
so he can do it all. And we're not even talking about the pitching.
The other key to me, Jess, and this is another area of which I did not think I would ever have expertise in, but I do. I went to Seoul, South Korea at the beginning of the year. I saw the Dodgers and Padres game in large part thanks to you. I go into the game. I have never seen the intensity and excitement around one player the way in which I saw people respond to Shohei Ohtani. We see it all the time in LA. We certainly see it across Major League Baseball, wherever he goes. My point is, if you drop Bobby Witt Jr. in Seoul, some people will know him, sure. Aaron Judge, the same thing. Of course, baseball fans will know him, but he's not breaking through on a celebrity level or an international level the way that Shohei has already and will continue to do.
No, it's a good point. And take it even out of the Far East where Ohtani is from.
Course,
put a game in Canada.
Right.
They're going to know who Ohtani is.
Absolutely.
Or be more drawn to him than even Bobby Witt. So, Ohtani for me. I mean, now when he adds pitching back into it, holy cow.
Every time he does anything.
Am I going to have to get you tickets for Cubs?
It's a guarantee.
Cubs Dodgers in Tokyo?
It's coming on March 17th at midnight. I'll be making the call, and you'll get me in. That's just the way it goes.
Shota versus Yamamoto opening day. That's going to be insane, because you were talking about
crazy.
Seoul, Korea.
Yeah.
None of these players are from Korea. They're all from Japan,
Absolutely.
which is where they're playing next year. It's going to be
awesome.
Absolutely insane. Danny, the expense report won't be too bad. A couple thousand to get there, a couple thousand in hotel stays. I'll be good to go.
Oh, Danny.
All right, what else, Charlie?
So the Athletic wrote which 0-1 NFL teams should be worried, from Bengals to Giants 14. They just kind of went through it and said, Ravens, relax, like lots of the Chiefs. If the Bears did lose last week, however, would you be in the relax or in the panic mode had they not pulled that out against Tennessee? And kind of a weird pull it out your ass kind of game.
I'd still be in relax. I mean, the best case scenario is squeaking into the playoffs. So if that's the way I'm thinking and they lose opening week, how can I be that upset? I'd be in relax.
I would be panicked because, guys, the Titans stink. The D-line looks good, but the Titans on the whole, to use the Denny Green phrase, they are who we all thought they were going to be. They all are who we thought they were. The Titans are terrible. If the Bears didn't come back and win that game, no matter how they came back and won it, I would be worried, because that was a game you thought you had to have to get yourself on the road to the postseason. So do I think the world is going to fall down if they lose Sunday? Absolutely not. And just to your point, if they go and win Sunday, well, hell,
baby.
who cares what happens last Sunday? You won the game. But absolutely, Charlie, if you lose to the Titans the way in which you would have lost to the Titans, I would have been throwing up every red flag in the world.
As for their question, I mean, I know you may not have it in front of you, Nick, but I don't know, like the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, you lost to Justin Fields at home, right? That was at Atlanta.
Yeah.
Looked bad. They were like a contender. They're supposed to be a contender.
And Kirk Cousins is supposed to get that offense righted. It didn't happen. And just this is another reason why you lose that game and you think, oh, it's okay. You have your first round pick to develop and it'll help your offense. Not when your first round pick is Michael Penix, who's going to sit behind the guy you just signed. So it puts even more focus on a pick that so many people didn't think they should have made.
In the AFC, is no doubt in my mind, it's Cleveland. No doubt in my mind.
Yeah. Deshaun Watson, it looks like it's over.
Yeah.
Like he's a backup quarterback now.
Charlie, what else?
That's it for the